Our subject for this semester is basic calculus, and on the third quarter we'll be focusing on differential calculus, and then on the fourth quarter we'll be having integral calculus if we will be able to finish the topics. And one of the primary topics in differential calculus is about derivatives. Okay, so before we start, so there's a saying that mathematics is the science of reasons. They also say that mathematics is the purest of the arts. They say that mathematics is hard, but in reality, mathematics is not the hard mathematics is not the hard part of mathematics. Motivation is, because learners already experience the difficulties in mathematics, and because of that, they had this connotation or belief that mathematics is a hard subject. But actually, if you will work on it, if you have the habit of doing it right, it is actually an enjoyable subject to study. So calculus is divided into two parts. Actually, there are other part or higher topics in calculus, but the first two is differential calculus and integral calculus. And usually, differential calculus is studied first before integral calculus. Pwede namang integral muna before differential, but mas madali if we will start on differential calculus. So one of the topic that we'll be discussing is the limit. Differential calculus is the limit of the slope of a tangent line, while integral calculus is limit of an infinite sum. These are some pre-calculus topics that you have studied: algebraic or transcendental expressions, sets, concept of relations operations, relation and function in our general mathematics. Okay, so now let's talk about the limit. So the limit is defined as what the function values approaches as the independent variable approaches a number. Example. So I think you have already encountered this in your modules. So number one, the limit of x squared minus 3 as x approaches 1. So usually we only substitute the value of the limit. So in this case, let's change x squared to 1 square, then minus 3. So that is negative 2. Ito naman, the limit of x plus 3 all over x minus 1 as x approaches 2. So 2 plus 3 all over 2 minus 1. So it is equal to 5. So number 3, the limit of x squared minus 4 all over x minus 2 as x approaches 2. So if we will directly substitute 2, what will happen in the denominator? So it will become 0. So it will be undefined. So to avoid an undefined result, so if the polynomial is factorable, so we factor it, then we cancel the common factors. So in this case, x squared minus 4 is in difference of two squares pattern. It can be factored in sum and difference pattern. So x minus 2 will be cancelled. So it will become just the limit of x plus 2 as x approaches 2. So change x to 2. So the the result will be 4. Okay. So suppose that a car is traveling along a road for 6 hours. Its distance from the point of origin is noted and recorded. Ayan. Let's say x is the distance in terms of kilometers from the origin and t is the time in terms of hours. So what is the average speed of the car? So there is a change in distance and there's also the length of time. So we can say that since that the car traveled 360 kilometers in 6 hours, so 360 divided by 6, so we can say that the average speed of the car is 60 kilometers per hour. So what is the average speed of the car between 3 hour and the 6 hour mark? How are we going to do that? So we're going to subtract the change in distance and then the length of time. So that's 63 and 1/3 kilometers per hour. So France, Juban, Jumel, Princess, Eliza, you may turn on your cameras. So what is the speed of the car at exactly the 3 hour mark? So data in the table is insufficient. So we cannot answer the table. So yun yung tinatawag na instantaneous rate of change. So consider the graph of f. So there is a curve. So there's a point here, let's say in 3. And so ang coordinate niya is 3 and f of 3. Siya yung y. Ano? So hindi natin nilagay exact value ng y dito. So lagay natin is f of 3. Then here is 3 plus delta t. So delta is a symbol that is used to show or illustrate change. So ito yung x-axis natin dito yung time. Ano? So change in time. Kaya naging 3 plus delta t. So ang coordinate niya ngayon is 3 plus delta t and f of 3 plus delta t. So yon. So may line siya. No? So yung slope niya is equal to f of 3 plus delta t minus f of 3 over delta t. Yan. So, kung mapapansin nyo, if nagbabago yung time, so iba yung line niya, no? And there will be a time na the line will just intersect at exactly 1 point. So, yun yung tangent, di ba? Kasi kapag it intersects in 2 points, so second yon. Pero pag 1 point, tangent. So, derivative is the instantaneous rate of change. It is the slope of the tangent line to a curve. And it is the limit of the slope of the second lines to a curve. Okay? So Isaac Newton from 1640 to 727. So Newton was born in Woolsthorpe, England. His father died before he was born and his mother raised him on the family farm. During his youth, he built a working water clock and a toy flour mill powered by a mouse. So there are memes on about Isaac Newton. This is only one. So in 1665, he discovered calculus, recognized the underlying principles of planetary motion and gravity, and determined that white sunlight was composed of all colors from red to violet. In 1667, he obtained his master's degree in Cambridge and became a teacher at Trinity. Thereafter, he formulated the law of gravitation and used it to explain the motion of the moon, the planets, and the tides. He formulated the law of thermodynamics and hydrodynamics. He also devised and constructed the first modern telescope. So he discovered calculus at the age of 25. Okay, so slope of a line. So let's say there is the x and y axis here. So assign tayo ng value for x sub 1 and x sub 2, y sub 1, and then y sub 2. So tandaan nyo pa yung concept na yan. So let's say there is a line. Okay? So the line intersects at these 2 points. So let us assign points here. Let's say point 1 or p sub 1. Then the second point is p sub 2. So remember yung rise o yung run at saka yung rise. Okay? Then let's say meron theta here. Kasi the slope of a line is defined as the tangent of its angle of inclination, theta, or equivalently as the ratio of the change in the vertical distance. So ang vertical distance is yung run to the change in horizontal line, or vertical distance pala yung rise, horizontal distance is run as the point move along the line in either direction. So notice that the slope of the line is constant. Okay? So the tangent line is defined as the line that intersects the curve at only one point, while the line that intersects the curve in two or more distinct points is called secant. So remember yung ating small formula, di ba? So it is said that the slope of the line is defined as the tangent of its angle of inclination theta, or equivalently as the ratio of the change in vertical distance to the change in horizontal distance. So rise over run, or change in y over change in x. So you are familiar with the slope formula. M is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So actually that's it, di ba? So however, the slope of a curve is not constant and must be determined in each particular point of interest. So let's say there is a curve. So let the points p sub 1 and p sub 2 be any 2 points on the curve, so that we can draw a second line joining the points on the curve. The slope of the second line joining the points p1 and p sub 1 and p sub 2 is given by, so those lines. Ayan. So as you can see, if there is a change, nag-iiba rin yung line. Diba? And there is a line that will intersect the curve at exactly one point. And it is called the tangent line. So the slope of the curve, so second, a slope niya is change in y and change in x. So y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So that is the slope of the second line. Not the slope of the curve, I'm sorry. Slope of the second line. So here, so yung slope ng line, so kunin natin yung limit. Ano? So the limit of change in y over change in x. So let us change it into the slope formula. So the limit of y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1 as change of x or delta x approaches 0. So, and then let the slope of the line, so or the slope of the curve, because when this occurs, the limiting value is said to be the slope of a curve at that point. That is, the first derivative is interpreted as the slope of a curve at a point. Hence, so let us here, this is the first derivative. The notation for the first derivative is f prime of x or dy over dx. And then, remember, yung change of x is x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So let us express this as x sub 2 equals x sub 1 plus delta x. And then yung y sub 1 naman is equal to f of x sub 1, di ba? And yung y sub 2 is equal to f of x sub 2. So we get, so the slope is equal to f of x or dy over d f prime of x equals dy over dx equals the limit of change in y over change in x as change of x approaches 0. And then, so this will become the limit in change of y over change of x as delta x approaches 0. So yung delta y, let us change it to y sub 2 minus y sub 1. So now it will become the limit of y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over delta x as delta x approaches 0. And then, yung y sub 2, di ba, it is equal to f of x sub 2. Yung y sub 1 is equal to f of x sub 1. So that will become the limit of f of x sub 2 minus f of x sub 1 all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. And then yung f of x sub 2, let's change it to f of x sub 1 plus delta x. So that will become f of x sub 1 plus delta x minus f of x sub 1 over delta x as delta x approaches 0. So the slope of a curve y equals f of x at x f of x is equal to the slope of its tangent line. Hence, at x f of x, the slope is equal to f of, so tanggal natin yung mga subscript, f of x plus delta x minus f of x all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. In general, for any x, we define the slope of a curve as the first derivative of the function y is equal to f of x, defined by, so f prime of x is equal to dy over dx equals f of x plus delta x minus f of x all over delta x as delta x approaches 0. So the derivative of a function, or let's say the function is y is equal to f of x, the derivative of y equals f of x at x is given by dy over dx equals f prime of x is equal to the limit of f of x plus delta x minus f of x over delta x as delta x approaches 0. Okay? So, yan yung definition ng derivative in terms of the formula with limit. So, in some books, sa halip na delta x, ang nilalagay, h. So, dy over dx equals f of prime or f prime of x is equal to f of x plus h minus f of x all over h as h approaches 0. So, why pinalitan? Kasi nga, medyo mahirap mag-solve or magsulat ng delta x. So, mas madali kapag h. So, that is one of the reason. So, yung notations ng derivative class, yung iba't ibang mathematician kasi ang nag-work on calculus. Ganito kasi yan. So, before, the mathematicians are working in of course, in different study, and then they discover, they notice when they presented their work na their work is similar to what the others are doing. So kaya ngayon nagkakameron tayo ng mga mga research presentation. Kasi nga there are times na yung findings mo is similar to the findings of others. Ayun. So yung kay Newton, before ganito yung notation niya ng first derivative y, and then there's a dot there. Ganyan. And then yung kay Leibniz, dy over dx. Yung kay Euler, d sub x, y. Then yung kay Lagrange naman is f prime of x. So yan yung mga notations ng first derivative. Then yung second derivative, kasi after solving for the first derivative, you can actually get the second derivative. So ganyan yung notation ni kay Newton, kay Leibniz. So d squared y over dx squared, but it doesn't mean na square yon. So actually, kung babasahin nyo yan, the second derivative of y with respect to x. So, ayun. Yung 2, hindi siya square. Ang ibig sabihin nun ay second derivative. Then kay Euler naman, ganyan. So, f double prime of x kay Lagrange. Ano? So, kapag ipepresent siya ng higher order derivatives to the n derivative, ito yung first derivative. So, binago din yun ni Newton. Ginawa na lang niyang y prime. Kasi nga, kasi kung tuldok pa yung gagamitin niya, wala nang problema eh. Tatlong tuldok. Pero kapag mas madami na, mahirap. So, ang ginagawa, sa halip na prime, let's say sa fourth derivative, ganyan. So, y to the... Tapos may ano siya, may parenthesis siya para hindi siya mapagkamalang exponent. So, pag nakakita kayo ng ganyan, y, let's say, raise to something, and then there's a parenthesis, tapos may nakalagay na number, so it could indicate what, kung pang ilang derivative siya. So, up to, let's say, the nth derivative. Okay? Yan. So, these are the different notations in derivative. Pero usually, ang ginagamit dito is yung may prime, itong y prime, dy over dx, or itong f prime of x. So, depende sa given. So, pag ang given ay in terms of f of x, so usually you will use this, di ba? F prime of x. Kapag ang given naman is in terms of y, let's say y equals something, so y prime or dy over dx. Okay? Example. So, find the derivative of y equals x squared minus 3x plus 2. So, we will use the formula here. Ano? So, the first thing to do is to add h sa bawat x. When you say adding h sa bawat x, so ganito yun, no? So, di ba, x squared. So, x squared siya. So, pag dinagdagan ng x, hindi x squared plus h, kundi x plus h squared. So, kita nyo naman, di ba? Tapos negative 3x. So, x, lagyan natin ng plus h. So, magiging negative 3 times quantity x plus h. Okay? And then plus 2. So, wala namang, dahil walang variable, so leave it as it is. So, gets nyo ha kung ba't nangyari ito. So, yung x squared, ginawang x plus h squared. Yung negative 3x, ginawang minus 3 times x plus h. Okay? And then, minus f of x. So, minus the original function. So, ito. Minus x squared minus 3x plus 2 all over h. Okay? Next, pag nagawa na yan, okay? So, di ba, itong x plus h square, we can actually express this as squaring of a binomial, di ba? This will become x squared plus 2hx plus h squared. Ito naman, negative 3, i-distribute natin sa x plus h. So, that will become negative 3x minus 3h. And then ito, so mahalaga na i-enclose sa parentheses yung the entire original function kasi minus the function. So kung siya ay more than two terms, more than one term, so yeah, may mga magbabago ng sign, di ba? So that magiging ganito yan. So x squared plus 2 or dy over dx is equal to the limit of x squared plus 2hx plus h squared minus 3x minus 3h plus 2 minus, so distribute natin yung negative, magiging minus x squared plus 3x minus 2 all over h. So, nasusundan nyo pa ba? And then, alisin natin yung parentheses. Ayan. So, after removing the parentheses, sulat muna natin na magkatabi yung mga like terms. Ano ba yung like terms? Yung h square, x square, I'm sorry, x square minus x square, then minus 3x plus 3x plus 2 minus 2, then yung mga wala ng katulad, plus 2hx plus h square minus 3h all over h. Okay? So, x square, mawawala na to as well as 3x at saka yung 2. So, matitira na lamang is, ayan. So, now it will become dy over dx is equal to the limit of 2hx plus h square minus 3h all over h as h approaches 0. So, i-factor out natin yung h. Kasi, may h naman siya lahat. Ano? So, pag pinactor out natin yan, that will become dy over dx equals the limit of h times 2x plus h minus 3 all over h as h approaches 0. So, pwede natin i-cancel yung h. So now, magiging ano na lang yan. The limit of, or dy over dx equal to the limit of 2x plus h minus 3 as h approaches 0. So after that, apply the limit. So change h to 0. Ayan. So the derivative is dy over dx equals 2x minus 3. So yan ang derivative nun, di ba? Okay? So nasundan nyo ba? Okay, you try. O, kopyahin nyo to. Find the derivative of y equals 3x squared minus 2x plus 1. Okay, nakopya nyo na, no? So, ibabalik ko dun sa example kanina, ha? Para masundan nyo. Okay, so sabay-sabay kayong mag-work on that. The first thing to do, mag-add kayo ng h sa x. Oh, you do that. Dun sa second example. If you have questions, magtanong kayo ha.
Sir, yung given po ba is 3x squared minus 2x plus 1?
The given is 3y equals 3x squared minus 2x plus 1.
Thanks po, sir.
Okay, so mag-add kayo ng h. After adding h, ayan. So, ang gawin nyo ay mag-ano kayo dyan, no? Square of binomial ulit. Yun nga lang, dahil may 3, i-multiply nyo pa sa 3. After nyo ma-square, yung binomial, pag trinomial na siya, saka nyo siya i-times sa 3. Okay? Tapos, i-distribute yung negative 2. Ayan. So, do not forget to enclose dito sa minus f of x, yung entire original function, enclose sa parenthesis ha. Kasi may mga magbabago ng sign pag nag-distribute tayo ng minus. So, I hope sina Princess Jerwin, Juban, Eliza, Clarence, Johara, Claudine, so nagsosolve din kayo sa bahay, no? Okay, after that, so pag may common terms, so ika-cancel nyo. And then, ipa-factor out yung h baka ma-cancel. And then, kung ano yung matitira, apply the limit. So, yun. So, kasama sa answer yung ano ha, dy over dx. Kasama nyo lagi to indicate that it is the derivative. Okay, may sagot na ba kayo? You may type sa chat box kung anong answer nyo. Pwede nyo namang sabihin. Anong answer mo nakuha, Rob? How about you, Jumel? Ano ka mo sagot?
Sir, wala pa po. Nawala
Ah,
po ako.
ano, wala. Ayan. Jasmine,
6x minus 2 din po.
6x minus 2. Yung kayo, yung Rob sa iyo ba yan, no? 6x plus 2 o 6x minus 2? Ayan. Si Sean, yan. Ganun din. dy over dx equals 6x minus 2. How about you, Franz?
Nawala po ako pagdating dun sa may
Saan?
factor rate. Hindi pa patapos.
Justine.
Ano po sir? 6x minus 2 po.
How about you, Jana? No, wala din. Junina.
dy over dx equals 6x minus 2 po.
Jana, anong answer mo?
Sir, nagka-combine like terms pa lang po.
Okay. Myra?
Ayun din po. 6x minus 2.
Eliza. Si Eliza yata, kilala niyo to. Kuha nang sumama to dati sa sa pilot testing. You may turn on your camera, Eliza.
Sir,
Yung
ano po? Dalito. Nawala po ako dun sa... Di nag-substitute po. Tapos, nung dinistribute ko na po, nawala po ako. Hindi ko po alam
Okay.
sunod na gagawin.
Tao dito yan. Okay, pakita ko sa inyo na lang. Ako muna, okay? So, ito yun. So, find the derivative of y equals 3x squared minus 2. x plus 1. So the first thing to do, nag-add kayo ng h. Ganyan ba ginawa nyo? Ayan. So, ang sunod dito, square nyo yung x plus h square or expand nyo yung x plus h square tapos i-distribute nyo itong -2 sa x plus h. This will look like this, di ba? So that will become x squared plus 2x plus h squared. And then distribute nyo yung 3. Okay, ayan. Doon sa mga nawala, ituloy nyo yan. So, pagtatabihin nyo na lamang dyan yung mga like terms. Tapos, kakancel nyo na. Tuloy nyo yan, ha? Rob, anong ginagawa mo ritual dyan? Para nagkakas ng spell. Yung way ng solution nyo could be different. Pero kung tama naman, edi ano.
Sir,
Yes.
sadya pong negative 3x squared plus 2x po yun. Hindi po minus 2x.
Saan part?
Dun po sa third layer po and fourth layer. Yung sa dulo na po.
Negative 3x square. Tapos magiging plus 2x minus 1. Di ba madidistribute yung negative?
Sige po, sir.
Yung ba tinatanong mo, Jumel?
Yes po, yes po.
Yung sinasabi ko kanina na i-distribute niyo yung minus or yung negative. Kaya mahalaga na naka-parenthesis siya. Sabi ni Rob, hinahanap daw niya yung mali niya. Nakita mo na, Rob? Ayan. Ano lang naman yon, siguro sa distribution ng sa sign. Kaya mahalaga na dapat maingat talaga kayo sa solution. Okay, magmamadali. Nasa bahay lang naman kayo eh. Tapos ka na dyan, ha?
Sir, hindi ko na po alam sunod kong gagawin pagka
Okay.
light terms.
Sige, wait lang. Janina, nasaan ka na? Ay, nakakuha ka ng sagot, Janina, no? Jasmine. Tapos mo kanina? Okay. Franz, kumusta?
Okay na po, nakuha ko na po.
Aliana.
Okay na po, sir. Medyo
Okay.
nalito lang din po sa distribution pero nag-end up din po sa 6x minus ano po.
Okay. So, ganito yun mangyayari. Sunod. Tingnan nyo, ha? Yan, Jana. Ay, nagawa naman ni Jana, ano? Tapos ito, ipa-factor out ang H. Ayan. So, okay lang naman na may matira pang H, di ba? Eliza, nasundan mo na?
Apo, sir, nakuha ko na po.
Okay. Jerwin,
Opo, sir.
pwede nyo i-on yung camera nyo, pakita ko din kayo, no? Huwag kayong mahiya sa mga ito, sa akin tanar. Mabait naman itong mga to. Ayan. Ikaw nga, Eliza, yung nasa pilot testing dati, no?
Apo, sir. Apo.
Okay. So, yan. Pagka-cancel nyo ng H, tapos apply nyo yung limit, yan, 6x minus 2. Okay? So, bigyan ko kayo ng exercises ha. Using the definition of the derivative, yung may formula na may limit. So, find the derivative of the following. Yan. Be careful ha sa solution nyo. May answer na kayo sa number 1. That's the answer number 1. dy over dx equals to x plus 4. May answer na kayo sa number 2.
Apa, sir.
Po. Yes po.
Apo.
Opo, sir.
Okay, ang answer ay dy over dx equals 8x minus 5 less. Last na lang. May answer na kayo sa number 3.
Opo, sir.
Okay, the answer is negative dy over dx equals negative 4x minus 3. Okay? So I'll send this presentation na lang in our group chat. Okay, so